Hello, this is Kate from Daily Tarot Girl, and this is your weekly tarot card reading. And for this week's reading, I'm using the Robin Wood Tarot. And this is an old deck that I've had for quite a while. And my intention with this week's reading is the same as always. So I just want to get an overview of the week ahead and some of the energies and themes coming up and how we can make the most of them. So I'm going to draw 3 cards. Each card is going to represent a portion of the upcoming week. And please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and check out my site dailytarotgirl.com. I've got tons of fun tarot learning resources on there for you to check out if you're interested in learning how to read tarot. Okay, so let's dive in. So this first card is for the beginning of the week, so Monday and Tuesday, and we have Justice, probably one of my least favorite cards. And I can see I've got a little bit of glare here, so I'm just gonna, I know you would think I would have like tested this before I got my camera set up. All right, good enough. Okay, so here we have Lady Justice, and Justice is about fairness and being impartial. So being able to look at a situation and see the facts without getting clouded by emotion and bias and all sentimentality, all of that stuff. So being able to just look at the facts, and there's almost kind of a coldness to Justice. Like she's a little bit cold. She's almost a little bit unfeeling, like she's not swayed by emotion or by any of that. She just really sees the facts. And sometimes that approach is necessary and that approach is needed in life. And so with Justice at the beginning of the week, it's really encouraging us to start out on a practical note. This is about weighing the pros and cons. So if you're trying to make a decision, weighing the pros and cons and really bringing in an element of rationality and judgment. Justice is also about discernment, so discerning what is true, what isn't true, what might not be true. Really using your powers of discernment here, whether you're trying to make a decision or you're just trying to organize your week in some way. She's holding this sword, and I can't help but be reminded of like just that feeling of like cutting cords or cutting away things, letting go, severing ties. And so I feel like there is this element of, figuring out what you need to let go of at the beginning of the week. And I feel like in a big way, this is about figuring out, okay, what do I need to focus on? What choices am I going to make here? And what kinds of things am I going to put on the back burner, let go of, not focus on? Like there is this element of kind of like clearing house, clearing clutter, so that you can be more focused and on track. That's the vibe I get with Justice. Now let's look at the middle card. So this is for the middle of the week. So we have 9 of Swords. Now I feel like we got 9 of Swords last week, or was it the week before? I'll have to go back and look, but I feel like I've recently seen this in a recent reading. So 9 of Swords is for the middle of the week, Wednesday, 30th, Thursday-ish, kind of midweek. Now the 9 of Swords is it's a card of worry and anxiety and keeping yourself up at night, and really, it's mostly about like worrying, almost about like the logistics of things. Like, how is this going to work? How is that going to work? And just kind of stressing out. And it could be about like stressing about the little details of things, or it could even be about stressing out, like really thinking worst case scenario. When you're trying to sleep at night and all of a sudden you start getting stressed out, and then your mind starts going to like the worst case scenario. Like, what if this were to happen? Or what if that were to happen? And so when the 9 of Swords shows up in a reading, it's not saying things are going to be terrible or like everything's going to be stressful and awful and nothing's going to work out. It's more sort of trying to bring your attention to the relationship that you have with your own mind and the relationship that you have to stress and anxiety. And so when I see this card in a reading, I know it's because the person that I'm reading for is really needing to develop more coping mechanisms or maybe more skills or a different approach to handling that kind of mental stress, or even just handling an overactive mind that tends to jump around and, torture you with that worst case scenario kind of thinking. So the Nine of Pentacles is really more than anything, or not Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Swords is really encouraging self-care midweek and really having some tools in your toolbox on how to deal with a stressed out mind, how to deal with overthinking or an overactive mind. That's really going to help us move through the week. Now, it's interesting, we have the Nine of Swords right after Justice, and I kind of talked about Justice as if this was about kind of being clear, like getting mental clarity on something and, using discernment. And I feel like Justice is kind of like the positive side of having a mind, having a human mind, being able to use judgment and discernment and rationality. Nine of Swords is at the downside of having, this human mind where our minds tend to need to be busy. And if they don't have something to focus on or think about, your mind starts spinning tails. It starts getting kind of stressed out and creating problems. Let's look at the end of the week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have Knight of Pentacles. So Knight of Pentacles is all about getting grounded, grounding your energy, and creating a feeling of familiarity, routine, and support for yourself. And I feel like because this is coming after the Nine of Swords, these two kind of are connected. So I think part of when I was talking about like self-care and figuring out a way to sort of calm an anxious mind, I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is kind of providing some insight as to how you can do that. And the Knight of Pentacles loves to have a sense of routine and predictability in his life. He can't move forward with things until he feels supported, stable, and sure of himself. And so the weekend, the end of the week, is a good time to work on creating this. So even if your life is in chaos right now, even if everything is unpredictable, you can still create a sense of containment and predictability for yourself. So how can you develop some sort of a routine that supports you? This could just be about like getting up at the same time every day or just doing one thing each day, but it's something that you do every day. Like, for example, I love doing, I'm learning a language right now on like an online app. And I spend about 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, every morning, doing this. And it just feels so good to have a sense of routine. And maybe you have the opposite problem. Maybe your life feels like there's too much routine, too much structure. And that's a topic for a different reading. But for me, because I'm self-employed and I don't always have the same schedule every day, it's nice to have like a bit of routine. The other thing I get with the Knight of Pentacles, okay, so looking at all of these cards together, especially the Knight of Pentacles, it's like you're wanting to move forward, you're wanting to make decisions, you're wanting to move forward and make some progress, but there's a couple things stopping you. Number one is you're worrying. So you might find yourself kind of worrying about the future, feeling really anxious and insecure about things. And then the Knight of Pentacles is like you have this need for comfort and routine and predictability, and you may find yourself clinging to your comfort zone and not wanting to get outside of it. And so that can kind of slow your progress a little bit. But the Knight of Pentacles is also saying, it's okay, you're still moving forward. You're figuring things out. You're moving forward at the pace that is comfortable to you right now. And you don't have to rush into things. You don't have to charge forward at breakneck speed. You don't have to be making tons and tons of progress right now. Knight of Pentacles is about really kind of biding your time, working on yourself, on getting grounded, on feeling comfortable and supported as you move forward. Now, let's look at all of these cards. Justice and the Knight of Pentacles, both of these cards to me are very like grounded, balanced, kind of practical cards. There's a very practical energy with these two cards. This week is a really good time to focus on practical things. Some weeks are really good to focus on relationships or spirituality or creativity, but this week it feels like taking care of the practical stuff, the nuts and bolts of life is really important. So making decisions, balancing the pros and cons, I'm talking about justice here, clearing clutter when you need to, focusing on getting grounded, just taking care of those day-to-day physical things in life that need to be taken care of. This is enough this week. You don't have to succeed at anything. You don't have to overachieve. You don't have to accomplish anything this week if you don't want to. It's okay to just like focus on the day-to-day. Focus on putting one foot in front of the other. Maybe focus on getting organized if that calls to you. But yeah, I feel like this is a week for grounding, balancing, taking care of yourself, calming an anxious mind if you have an anxious mind, maybe even getting a little extra sleep as well. Yeah, that's what I'm getting so far from these three cards. So please feel free to share your own insights on these cards. Did you have a different take on these cards? Was there a particular symbol on one of these cards that really stood out to you? Like I always see these swords as being like a ladder to climb up and ascend. So let me know if there's a particular symbol that stands out to you. Feel free to share in the comment section below. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this reading helpful. I hope it gave you some ideas. And again, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I post these videos every week. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks again for watching and see you next time.